Now we're going to look at how to factor and solve a simple quadratic. That means where a is equal to 1. For example, x squared plus 13x plus 36 equals 0. Here we can think of a, the number in front of x squared, as being 1, but we don't need to write it. The rule here is we're going to find two numbers that add to give us that b value, the 13 in this case, and times to give us 36. And we'll put those two numbers in the brackets with the x. This is because if you expanded these brackets out, x times x is going to be the first term. That will give you the x squared. Then these two middle steps of x times something and something times x, they're going to give you two numbers which add together to be that coefficient of b. The last step will be to times the two missing numbers together, and that will give you the 36. So two numbers. We're going to need two numbers that times to give 36 first of all. I like to start with the timesing first. 36 times 1 is the obvious pair, but you can't forget it. Then I like to increase the 1 to 2 and see what 2 times what equals 36. 2 times 18, then 3 times 12, then 4 times 9, 5 times doesn't work, then 6 times 6. And because these two numbers are the same or consecutive, that's all our factors, except we could, of course, have negative pairs as well. But we'll leave them for now, and we'll see if we need them. So we know all these numbers here. All these numbers are going to times to give us 36. We just need to check now which one adds to give us 13. So we'll just add along until we find the matching numbers. 36 plus 1, 37, 20, 15, 13. So 13 is the correct number. So we don't need to keep going. We know that we're going to put x plus 9 and x plus 4 in our brackets. So that's our two brackets. Now we just have to solve. So to make the first bracket equal to 0, x will have to equal negative 9. And to make the second bracket with plus 4, x will have to equal negative 4. So that's our solution. We're done. But just to explain this one last time, if we expand out, we'll get x squared plus 9x plus 4x plus 36. And you can see that the 9x plus 4x adds to give us 13. So that's where the plus 13 comes from. Here's another example. X squared minus 9x plus 14 equals 0. And the number in front of the x squared is 1, but we won't write that. Splitting into two brackets, I need two numbers that times to give 14. So here's my possible pairs. And we just got to check. Neither of these give us negative 9. So we're going to have to try the negative pairings as well. And the last pair we see, negative 7. And negative 2 gives us negative 9. So if we put negative 7 and negative 2 in the brackets, now we just have to solve each bracket, x equals 7 or x equals 2. One more example. Here we have a quadratic that is not written in this format, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So the first thing we have to do is make it like that. So we're just going to move the 2x and the 24 across. And we now need two numbers that equal negative 24. It has to be equal to 0 before any of this will work. So here's our pairs that equal negative 24 when we multiply them. And of course, if we just do the same pairs, but we switch the negative to the other term, then here we have all the possible pairs, all the possible factors of negative 24. Now we're just going to go ahead and find the ones that add to give negative 2. And we don't need to keep going once we've found it. So here we have x minus 6 and x plus 4. And I just need to make each bracket individually equal to 0. So I'll need a 6 to go in there with the negative 6. Or I'll need a negative 4 to go in there with the positive 4. So our two answers are 6 or x equals negative 4.